Welcome to another JSWIFT tutorial. In this session, we will be looking at the release permit for JACRA. Now, the release permit for JACRA is created when the goods have arrived and traders are now requesting a release for customs clearance. Now, for customs clearance, customs would be interested in ensuring that a permit existed for the product as well as a release generated in the system. The trader must first navigate to the option Permit, select New. The regime type is Import. The trader would be required to complete the 4 pages that are available on this application. The first being the general information page, then the item details page, attachment, and fees page. The regime is import. The process type identifies the location of the government office that will be processing this application. In this case, it's Kingston. The contact name, which would be the name of the trader, the person applying for this release. Also, their email address where they can be contacted in the event that JACRA needs to reach out to the trader. Exporter, who it is that they are purchasing the goods from. Now, once the general information page is completed, whereby it is clear as to who the traders are, we go to the next page. On the next page now, we are able to identify what it is that we are requesting a release for. So we select the process type, and in this case, our process type is import release. In our previous video, or one of our tutorials that look at the permit application for JACRA, we would have covered the other 5 options, which is coffee, general items, coconut water, plant import permit, and plant permit for coffee beans. And in that tutorial, we looked at the permit that persons would receive prior to importation. Now, this permit is what would be received at the arrival of the goods so that the cess can be paid, if applicable, to JACRA, so the release can be granted. So for the import release, it is selected. And if you notice on the application, the system is asking you what permit is it that you are writing off these quantities from. Now, the trader can always select from the available permits that they have. And in this case, the system is saying to them that you can choose from this one. You can select the item on the permit. So if they select item 1, then what the system is doing, it's pulling information from your permit, which should make it easier for you to go through the process. Once you select choose, because the system is saying this is the commodity that we have observed. If the quantities are not the same, or you are basically not importing as much, you can make adjustments. The key thing to note is that you cannot import more than what is on your permit. So, say for instance, the trader making changes to what is different and maintaining what is the same, right? If it was a different supplier, they could have made those changes if the values in currencies and amounts are different. that can be done as well, if you right, and so on and so forth. So the trader has an easier time completing the form because the system would have pulled relevant data from what was there initially. So you're able to make your changes and edit the form as required. The next step, what is the weight? So we have that we're doing 500 liters. It's a 1-on-1 for the weight in kilograms. So you put in the value in kilogram and regulated commodity. And we have coconut oil, which is one of the edible oils. And you can always complete, right? And also, the system will allow you to make the updates as needed. Or you can enter the values. Once you click on Add Commodity, then you can go to the next page. On the next page, you are required to upload the mandatory attachments, which is, in this case, mandatory attachments are being referenced, such as your commercial invoice and your bill of lading. So you ensure that when you click on the document, you are referencing properly. So commercial invoice, and we select, look for a document, add, click to add, and now we would have satisfied our mandatory requirements. Now, if there are any additional updates, then the trader is required to add those updates. When you go to the next page, then you'd realize that once all the mandatory attachments are in, then the system will verify. The trader is now able to submit, and now the release permit application reference is now 2025 PER 53. Now the trader at this point is waiting for an approval from JACRA to print their output document. Now, in order to view the statuses, the trader is not required to make any payment at this point. However, if there's a cess required, then the trader must go ahead and make the payment. Now, to search for your application and the updates, you click search. Document type is permit, and application 2025. And when you search, you will see your status will say paid. It does not mean that you already paid your cess. It only means that the system does not require that you make any payments. So what is there is a zero payment. You're not required. However, once your application is being processed, and if there's a requirement for payment, the status will say assessed. So you will see your status saying assessed if there is a fee that is required for payment. If at any time you see your status saying assessed, you can view the fees page and see the value to be paid, and then from there you'll go ahead and make the required payments. And once the payment is made, the application will move to finalize. Now, how do we print a finalized release? The first thing you must do is search for the document. Once you click on search, you click view, navigate to the item details page, select print, once you click open, then your release document will appear. So in the same way that you search for your permit, the same way you would search for your release. Both documents look different, and the information on it will show the cess that was paid. Please note that if there is no cess required, the system will send the application to finalize. If there's a cess required, you're required to pay the cess. So your status will say assessed. If your status says assessed, you must view the fees page and then go ahead and make the payments so your application can be finalized. Thank you so much for viewing.